Man, look at this setup. I got a neon sign, I got a little Voro pillow, I got a couch. We on the way to a real setup soon, boys. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Voro Motors. I'm AJ Hart, here today with a handy guide to maintain your ride. Now, here it comes 3 times. For today's video, I thought it'd be nice to go over some issues that we see with the touring handlebars specifically and go over how to fix them. I picked 3 out of the ordinary issues and I'm just gonna burn through them really quick. And they're definitely all super easy, and one of them didn't take us 40 minutes to do. Let's get into it. Now, the first issue that we're going to fix is actually super easy. Sometimes you may notice that the handlebar will be rotating like this, like you can twist it up and down, and that's not supposed to happen. So in order to fix that, just twist the handlebar forward and it should lock again. The next issue that we're going to be talking about is how to replace the handlebars themselves. This isn't so much as an issue that you're going to be coming up against, so much as it's just a repair that maybe you'll have to do. What you're going to want to do is take 2 Allen wrenches, put one on each end, and unscrew it. Once the screw's all the way removed, you're going to go ahead and take it out. And then you're going to want to take something and push back through the other side and push this socket out. This handlebar is held together through a socket and screw combination. Just push it through and grab it and pull it out. Now you can pop the whole thing off and swap it out. Putting it back on, make sure that you have the screw on up top, that way when you open it you can actually adjust the handlebar tightness. Then we're going to take that socket and screw and put them back in, and go ahead and tighten those down. Again, you're going to want to use 2 Allen wrenches to make sure that you can get that nice and secure. And with that, it's all replaced. Now we're on to the tough job. Now if you start moving your handlebars up and down and you're not feeling it lock, you've definitely run into an issue. You see right here there's supposed to be a pin that locks at one of these 2 holes. Maybe you've pushed that in too far and you've locked it on the inside, so we gotta try to get that out. So we need to remove the entire handlebar setup. In order to do that, the first thing that we need to do is remove the locking mechanism. We're just gonna unscrew this little socket on the side of the latch and pull the pin out. Now we need to get that ring off. On the back side, you're going to notice this little hole here. You're going to want to take a small Allen wrench, reach in there and unscrew this. There's a little tiny screw on the inside here. It's a teeny tiny guy. Make sure that you don't lose it, because if you do, you're going to be pretty PO'd at yourself later. Hey there, little dude. Now that the locking mechanism and the screw are out, we can pop off that actual locking mechanism and give ourselves a little bit more wiggle room to take the stem out. Now we're going to pull the handlebars up all the way and then start to tilt them towards the cable to try to get them up and out. And there we go, we're up and out. Now, if we look down into the stem, you can see that little copper piece there is the pin that we need. We need that to be showing outside of the handlebar, not locked on the inside there. So how do we get it out? That, my friends, is the problem. Luckily, we have these really long tongs. Hold on, this camera angle kind of sucks. Here we go. Luckily, we have these really long tongs. So what we're going to do is just reach these tongs inside this bad boy and try to pull that pin down and out to the hole. And it works on our first try, and we're not here worried about it at all. God, I wish. This took a while, like a long while. We were reaching those tongs in and snatching and grabbing, and we just couldn't get it to actually hook. The problem is that the tongs didn't have a lot of grabbing power. Then, one of our beloved technicians had the idea of taking a brake line and some zip ties and creating a little loop. The idea being now that if we can get this loop around that pin, we would then be able to just yank it down. This idea unfortunately didn't work because we still couldn't get the loop around that pin. So he grabbed a pair of tongs and he thought maybe I can reach in, grab it, and pull it down into the loop, which again did not work. The problem that we were running into was that the force of the tongs simply wasn't enough to grab and pull the pin because the pin's force of pushing it and holding itself into place was stronger. So we weren't certain what to do next. You see, we weren't able to be reaching those tongs in and grabbing and pulling the pin at all, but what we had been able to do is cause it to twist a little bit. And on the inside of this stem, you'll notice there's a little bit of a hump on the inner ring. So my new idea was, what if we try to pop the curb? So I reached our little loop in and tried to give it enough space so that it could happen, and my new thought was that if I can get the pin to pop the curb and jump into the little loop that we've created with a brake line and some zip ties, I should then be able to pull it right on out. And sure enough, there it was. Now that it's out, I can kind of show you the mechanism of what that pin looks like. It's a little V and a pin on the other side. The pin just sits on the little hook at the end of the V, and the V pushes it against and out the hole. That creates the button of the pin. That's why it can be pushed in too far and cause some issues. Now that we have it all out, we're going to go ahead and put it back in. But we're going to be really careful not to push it down too far and have to dig it out again. There we go, popped right out through the hole. And now we can put it all back together. We're going to take that locking mechanism and put that back over the top of the stem first. And now we're going to put the T-bar back into the stem. You're going to want to push that button down so that it can slide in. Please be sure not to push it too far, otherwise we're going to have to redo our work. We can see that it popped down on the bottom there, so we can start putting it all back together. We're going to go ahead and start by putting that latch back on. Just slide it through and then go ahead and start tightening that socket on the opposite side. Now we need to put that little tiny screw back in. Now I'm sure that all of you are much more responsible than us and definitely super didn't lose the tiny screw, causing more issues. Luckily, we make the rules around here and we have the parts, so we went ahead and just grabbed a new one. Go ahead and tighten that down. Like it was before, you're going to notice that it doesn't sit flush with this hole. It actually goes in a little bit deeper. It goes into the rut that I was talking about earlier that we used to pop the pin over. Now make sure that you don't tighten this down all the way, because this screw is actually going to be scraping against the metal on the inside. Just tighten it down to a point where the stem feels pretty snug and it doesn't feel like it's moving up and down too loose. We're going to go ahead and push the pin and make sure that it slides up and down and locks and all that good stuff. And now that we're confident that it's all working again and that the pin can come out and lock again, we're going to go ahead and call that a job well done. And there you guys have it. Those are 3 different issues that we can fix on the Touring with relative ease, albeit with a lot of time and with some jerry-rigging. We do what we can. Unfortunately, there's no real special part for that last fix. It's just whatever you've got kicking around that can do the job. At least that's what I've got. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions or concerns about your scooter that came up during this job, go ahead and leave those in the comments down below. If you have any ideas for other videos you'd like to see us do, go ahead and drop those into the comments down below too. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I hope that this video helps, and I hope you enjoy your ride. I tried to do something a little bit more energetic with this video, and I hope that you all enjoyed that energy. We'll see if it actually stuck around. Maybe my boss hated it and I had to remove it all. We'll see when the upload goes up. What's up, Melvin? Speak of the devil? Come on in! Yeah, I'm fine. I'm editing the video now.